with Farah, your host, and I'm so excited to have a special guest today, Dr. Danielle McCamey, and she is doing all the things. I'm telling you, she works for John Hopkins. She also is the founder of a nonprofit called DNP of Color. So we're going to get into all that. So thank you so much for joining me, and please introduce yourself to our guests.
Hey y'all, I am Dr. Danielle McCamey. I currently serve as the Assistant Dean for Strategic Partnerships at Johns Hopkins School of Nursing, and I'm also the founder, CEO, and president of DNPs of Color.
Awesome. And you're a nurse practitioner as well.
Yes, I'm an acute care nurse practitioner. It's funny because like when I made the transition to academia, the clinical practice piece has kind of reduced significantly, but I still practice at a hospital in Washington, D.C. on the surgical critical care team. So that's critical care has always been my love, my first love, my only love. So yes, that is
Much
one of the hats.
love.
Hey.
Yes, so I love it. And my background is emergency medicine.
Okay,
So,
adrenaline junkies here.
yes, and I got right into it from school. So definitely we have a lot in common. And I also
Yeah.
went into education, got my master's, and currently the director of a nursing program in academia. So very
Yes.
interesting. So I want to say hi to everybody out there watching. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, please drop them in the comment box. And if you happen to be watching the replay, also do so as well, so we can respond to it later. So let's get into it. So today we're going to be talking about navigating the future landscape of the DNP. So a lot of people don't really know what the DNP is, and sometimes they'll say things like, "Oh, what is a DNP?" Or like, "Why didn't you
Right.
just PhD?" I'm like, "Stop right there."
Okay.
I'm like, it's a terminal degree, it's a doctorate degree that
Yeah.
has a lot of value, but
Yes.
sometimes I find that people, downplay it a lot. So what are your thoughts
Mhm.
on it? And drop a little knowledge for the people out there on the
Drop a
DM.
little knowledge. Well, given that I'm the founder, CEO, president of DNPs of Color, of course, I
Mhm.
see tremendous value in the Doctorate of Nursing Practice degree. One is it is a terminal degree that's focused on nursing practice. So it's a clinical practice doctorate. Two, this particular DNP degree has made doctoral studies more accessible to so many other folks that wouldn't be able to be in the doctoral space just because thinking about the trajectory and the structure of PhD, it's not
Mhm.
necessarily conducive to those that are working, that have other obligations to family and finances. Hey, future doc Aaron King.
Mhm.
So in that, it has made it much more accessible. And then also the uniqueness about the DNP degree is a lot of us are still very much close to clinical practice. So we have that understanding of current state of healthcare, patient care, what healthcare looks like in the community and the spectrum. And then also just the foundation of our education allows us to be knowledgeable in research process, quality improvement, evidence-based practice. So I
Right.
love this degree because I feel like it's the versatility. I say the versatility for me because we have the opportunity to understanding both sides and
Mhm.
gives us that unique advantage to be able to create things that impact outcomes. And that's what the degree and those educated with this degree are truly focused on, are how to improve patient outcomes.
Yeah, and that's an awesome way to put it. And I think even sometimes explaining it is a little complex because there are so many different parts to the DNP, and obviously it
Yeah.
really started for advanced, practice nurses,
Mhm.
but then it really
Yeah,
evolved over time. And
definitely.
I was gonna try to look up the statistic earlier, but I couldn't find it of
Mhm.
how many DNPs are in academia. But a lot of DNP graduates are actually going into academia and teaching.
Yes.
And that's interesting because some programs do offer education in the curriculum, some educational
Yes.
courses, but some don't. So, oh yeah, I just want to say a shout out to Dr. Anna Valdez.
Yes, that's my sister from another mister, Dr. Valdez.
Thank you for tuning
DMPs of
in,
Color is
everybody.
coming through. Hey, docs. Hey.
So what are
Yes,
your thoughts
California's in the
on,
building.
yes,
Sorry.
what are your thoughts on the, some, like I know NYU has transferred their curriculum to include education.
Yes.
Monmouth University, where I went to in New Jersey, has
Hmm.
also a track where you can take extra educational courses.
Yes.
But like, what are your thoughts on that and on preparing the DMP for the academia role? Because,
Um, for me, I'm a believer because in academia, we are teaching individuals how to practice, and nursing is a clinical practice profession. And so it makes sense to have more academicians that are educated at the DNP level, which is a practice doctorate. And I think that nursing has historically placed a lot of weight on PhD, and I'm not trying to shade PhDs because we need everybody. There's enough work for everybody out here in these streets. But I
right,
think the way that nursing has essentially, I want to say like ostracized or essentially have othered the DNP, that we really need to start thinking about creating more inclusive spaces for DNP prepared nurses, because we outnumber PhD prepared nurses tremendously. So
right,
now is the time for nursing to actually start being strategic and educating DNP prepared nurses to be equipped to be in academia spaces, research spaces where um, when it was first conceptualized, wasn't meant for DNP prepared nurses to be in those spaces, but
right.
because there's so much more of us out here, if we're going to make any movements in advancing health equity and closing some of these gaps, we do have to essentially reimagine or make space for nurses that have DNP and allowing them to have that additional education to be prepared to be in these particular spaces that historically have been dominated by PhD prepared nurses.
Right, and I totally agree because I think for
You're
both,
right. Hold yourself. Sorry. Sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I know that we're both passionate about education, and
Yes.
also I think we probably share the same passion about increasing diversity in the nursing
Yes.
workforce and in academia. Because I know when I went to school in Canada. None of the faculty were diverse, and
Yeah.
representation really matters. And there
Absolutely.
was a lot of issues, and the ANA came out with the racism and healthcare and all this, and these are real issues. So this is why I think DMP of Colors is so important for the
Yes.
advocacy that you do and the mentorship. So if you want to talk a little about that, and thank you for. We have Aaron King saying, understand, implement research, champions of clinical practice and leadership.
That's
Thank you,
right.
everybody, for coming through. Dr. Robin
Yes.
Young, who
We
else?
see you. Hey, Dr. Robin Young. My people in the building. I love the support. So getting back to the importance of DMPs of color. And so I it never ceases to amaze me when people find us as an organization, just hearing people's stories. And so just thinking back to our conference that we had in DC this past October, people were literally in tears at that conference because they had literally just crawled their way to that space and got their cups refilled. People were just like, I've never been in a space like this where people that look like me have the same level of education. And we over here snapping fingers, do your step. And nobody is like looking at us like, that's very unprofessional. I'm going to question all your education because you're over here snapping your fingers, doing your step. You can do it all by yourself, And so we were able to
I love
be
it.
unapologetically and authentically ourselves. And people was like, I see you, like I recognize you. And the level of expertise and scholarship and knowledge and confidence was so powerful. It was palpable. And it was that energy of like what's understood doesn't need to be said. Like we were just connected and feeling each other. And so having that community dedicated to this growing body of scholars, leaders, educators is critically important because we are literally offering a space to keep them sustained in places where they are the only one. We
Right.
literally were filling cups so that people can go back to those spaces where they're in those boardrooms at a leadership table, they may or may not have a voice or power, but they know they have a community that is backing them, that they can get resources from, that they can connect with. And so I think people always ask me, why has it got to be DNPs of color? Why can't it be DNP of all colors? And I say, well, if you look around,
Right.
just
It's
in your
all
local nursing organization, there's a dominant, color. And it leaves us on the outside, it leaves us being othered, and it leaves us to have to fit in boxes, to have to fit in spaces that we have to strategize and, be in a mold that's considered professional without us being questioned about
Mhm.
our worth and our abilities and our capabilities of being in certain spaces. And so docs, we provide that. Just be you, boo. Come with everything. We're gonna work it out,
I love it.
and people come with that energy wanting to give and connect. And that's just so powerful.
I love it. And I've been following you for a while and like, looking at the transformation of the conferences and the
Yes.
community growing. And that's why when I recently, I joined when I was still a student for the DNP and I
Yes.
recently graduated. So I'm so excited to be part of.
Congratulations, Doc. Let's pause on that real quick. Yes.
Thank
Yes.
you, and thank you for all the support on the
Absolutely.
posts and everything. The community has been really amazing. I've been just a part of it for a short time, but
Yeah.
I wanted to touch upon some amazing things that you said about professionalism. I was actually going to post something
Mm,
about it yesterday,
mm.
and I probably still will because it's like people think that because you're a professional that you can't have fun or you can't have humor,
Can
right?
you
And then
run that back? Can you run that back?
right? Like even in the ER, I used to like I think humor would be like my way to get through things, especially in critical
Absolutely.
care areas.
Oh
You
gosh, yes.
have to be able to have fun, be passionate about what it is that you do. And even like at the pinning ceremony, I said something, and probably the VP of Academic Services was looking at me like, "What is she saying?" Because I said something like,
They'll never
"A
get
great
it.
the philosopher once said, started from the bottom, and now we're here."
Hey.
Students were like cracking up, right? And I'm like, hey, you gotta make it fun, right? And you can
Yes.
still be professional, like you said. It doesn't take away from your education.
Correct. Yes.
So that's what I love about that. And you mentioned something else, like even the American Nurses Association, right? Back in the day, didn't even allow, you know, any other diverse members, right?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
and that the it hasn't an MLK Day was recent. There's still a lot of work to be done in
Absolutely.
healthcare, and I think talking about these issues really brings it out there because DMPs do have a lot of challenges ahead, and even
Oh
not
yes.
just DMPs but nurses in general, because I'm
Period.
sure that a lot of us have faced discrimination,
Mhm.
racism, and that
Yep.
being, even though we're qualified,
Mhm.
constantly applying for roles and being denied, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
I think this is a safe space in this DMP of Colors to really
Mhm.
discuss these issues and bring it forth to the public because some people may not really be aware of really what's going on. So let's take
Absolutely.
some more comments over here. They're showing you a lot of love over here. Let's see.
Yes, yes, yes.
The
And that's the
comments
thing,
in
the
the
community
back.
is filled with so much love, like so much love, and people want to see people winning. And that's so rare in nursing because it's
Mhm.
nurses eating, they're young, it's people, competing. I mean, there's competition, of course, but the
Right.
overall like energy's been like, how can I elevate you? And I can recall there's a group of students, they call themselves the First Five, and they are
Mhm.
students from Coppin State University, and they are the first five that will be graduating from their BS to DNP program.
Okay.
And they discovered us. They've been talking about us. But by the end of that conference, they came with mentors. They left with mentors. They left with jobs. They left with like
Wow.
DNP project advisors, clinical placement rotations. And they've been like, Dr. McCamey, like, we left, you know, fully equipped to be able to just roll up out these doors and start practicing. I said, yes. And that's what we want, to be able to take care of ourselves, be self-sufficient. And I always say, for me, my life path is I'm a person that identifies gaps, and I build communities that create opportunities. And I really feel like DMPs of Color offers up so many opportunities for people to just be and do and really amplify our voices and really make a tremendous impact in nursing.
Right. And you mentioned something again, back to mentorship, because I think, I'm a mentor and I'm looking for more mentors myself. So
Yeah,
I
we
got a
need
little
an entourage.
entourage. But, and I always say to nursing students, don't just have one mentor. You can have multiple mentors, right?
Correct.
And that's something that I regret not doing early on in my career, and also networking, right? I
Yes.
didn't understand that concept of networking
Yes.
because to me, I was like, well, I don't want to like suck up to people, right? That was like the perception that I had. And then it
Facts.
changed over time. And I was like, well, it's just like creating relationships. And so
Yeah.
this conference and this community definitely does that. But I wanted to touch upon something. Not all DMP programs are created equal, right?
Yeah.
And some of them do not provide a
Hmm.
lot of mentorship in the, say, project
Yeah.
stage, or like I actually had to implement my
Hmm.
study. And it's like a lot of it is like, especially if it's online, you're expected to do a lot on your own. So I
Yeah.
think this is why it's important to have other DMPs that can
Yes.
guide you through it, because it can be challenging. Um,
Mhm.
so
Absolutely.
let's take some comments here. So resounding authenticity, need to refill your cup. And then what else? What else? What else? We all strive to
I do
better our
want to expand.
practice.
I do want to expand on some of your comments though
Yeah, go
about around mentorship because yesterday years old just realized the value in having multiple mentors, and one of my
ahead.
mentors is in the building, Dr. Roberta Waite. She is the first Black dean at Georgetown University, official school of nursing. Yes, shout out to her. A huge, huge inspiration. And watching her and her deanship, helping me to learn how to be a dean at my particular institution, but just realizing the value that so many mentors can have in certain phases of your career, in certain phases of life, because life be life in, let's be real. And it seems like life's extra when you're in school, especially
Right,
doctoral school.
right, right.
So
I had two kids. My daughter was a few months old.
listen,
I had a 4-year-old. So like you said,
listen, yeah. So it's all of that. So definitely want to impart that wisdom and really underscore, get you a mentor.
right,
And folks that are in the mentoring space will be open to receive you. And if they don't have the bandwidth to take you on as a mentee, use that as an opportunity to have them pass you on to someone else in their network, or use them as needed for curbside consults. I recently had someone reach out to me on LinkedIn seeking mentorship. She was telling me about her DNP
mhm,
program and how, again, she wasn't getting the support, she wasn't getting the opportunities, or just kind of being positioned for success. And I said,
right,
you need a mentor, bottom line. And I said, I probably have about 10 mentees right now, plus my obligations for my faculty role. And I said, I'm happy to be there as needed, but I gave her
right,
a list of homework, and I said, to push you to the finish line, you need at least 3 mentors. You need one, I always call like your life mentor, one that's like, well, your mama or your parent mentor, one that understands you authentically as a person. They understand your passions and how you work and how you operate. So those are the ones that remind you of who you are. When you start going off kilter, they're like, hold on, let's get back to who you are. So that's like the parent
right,
mentor. And the second mentor is your strategy mentor, your career mentor, one that helps you set up the game secrets to get you aligned to where you want to go. And the third mentor is your pie in the sky mentor, like your Oprah, or someone that might be famous, that you
mhm,
see how their impact is in society, in the world, so you want to align your energy and the way you move in the world to kind of have the same impact. And so having at least 3 at minimum to be able to push through the different phases is what I recommend. So I gave her a long list of homework, and I said, hit me up in 2 weeks. Let's really, work the DNPs of Color network, and let's see what we can come up with. I was like, I have full faith and confidence that you'll be able to find someone that you need, that by your hip, like white on rice mentorship right now, because she's just so beat down from just the
right.
trauma she's enduring in the program. And
Yeah,
it's so frustrating to hear these stories, that just for us to get this piece of paper, the amount of trauma that we have to endure, and it's just so unfair. And it's
mhm,
a piece of our journey that we have to build a community so that we have the strength to push through, to connect, because getting in on that other side, there's so much more tremendous value that our communities will benefit from when we have that piece of paper and that power that comes along with that piece of paper.
I mean, it's so true because I personally, and I'm sure everybody has their own story, but I personally failed my DNP
Mm,
project.
mm,
And I posted about this on LinkedIn because I said, never have I ever failed
mm,
any course ever, from
mm,
high school to my BSN to anything. And I'm like,
mhm,
how did they fail me on this, right? And it was like I was asking for constant, support,
mm,
and I wasn't getting it. And then
mm.
it's very complex. I
Yeah.
had to appeal it to try, I appealed it, and I didn't had to speak to the provost, to the dean, nothing, and
Ma'am.
they didn't give it back. So that's why I was like, it's okay. It'll be part of my story to help others really succeed. But I
Yeah.
was very distraught. I was like, what the hell? But I was like, you know what? Everything,
Happens for a reason.
God's plan and everything happens for a reason. So, but I wanted to share
But you
that.
still got that paper though. Hey, hey. We out here with that paper and the title, baby. And the
Can't stop, won't
credentials.
stop. Can't stop, won't stop. That's it.
Hey, it's in
Can't
the
hold
DNA,
us down.
baby.
I love it. We're like, honestly, it's like we known each other for like 20 years.
Seriously.
I love it. I love the energy. So blessed, Dr. Okay, I don't know LinkedIn user. It's not saying the name.
Okay,
And
if
it's
you're my mentee,
Jessica.
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and say your name because it doesn't tell you your name. So represent.
And Jessica, thank you for your comment. She's basically saying unofficial, informal. Watching great nurse leaders are doing a form of mentoring. Thank you for sharing and what you do. Thank
Yeah.
you for joining us, everybody. And then what else?
Yes.
Dr. Valdez,
Your
your
committee
committee
failed you.
failed you.
Yeah.
You did not fail. Ah, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you. So
Yeah.
that's why I think I wrote an article recently. It hasn't been published. It might be on the
Mhm.
Daily Nurse
Okay.
because I also am a contributor to Minority Nurse. But I
Yes.
wrote about the importance of having a mentor during a DMP program because
Absolutely.
it is crucial. So thank you for all the love and support, everybody out here watching.
Hey, Dr. Odom in the building. Yes, that's one of my newest mentees. I tell everybody, I was like,
Okay,
I'm
cool.
building an army, an army of soldiers that can go out here in case somebody want to nuck. If they want to buck, they ready to buck. Okay.
It's so funny because everybody makes fun of me because I'm always speaking in lyrics. Like I always bring up lyrics. So so you and me are like right here. We're good. We're good. Especially like 90s music.
Yes.
I'm about the 90s and early 2000s.
Yes,
I can't
absolutely.
wait. I really hope I can make it to this conference.
You have to. So speaking of the conference, I'm gonna need y'all out there in the
Yes,
building. October
October,
17th through the
Philly.
20th. Philly, where I am from. I mean, I'm not from Philly, but it's
Right,
gonna be
city of brotherly love.
amazing. The location will be revealed soon, but registration is open for sponsorship. So if you have a small business, a big business, somebody with some coins, you understand the importance of sponsorship to elevate the brand, to really invest in the success of the conference and the community. Let us know. Hit up our website, dnpsofcolor.org. We would love the support. But
Yes, support.
so the theme of this conference is going to be the Power Playbook, Leadership, Advocacy, and the Arts. It's a big election year. We decided to do Power Playbook because that's what it's all about. Leveraging the power of our leadership, leveraging the power of our advocacy, and understanding the power within arts. So we want to bring in arts because I feel that's a way to help bring balance, healing, peace, joy.
Mhm.
And so this conference, we're really going to be looking for an extension of this past conference, which was about game changers and trailblazers, but really digging in how we can shake and shape these structures. And how we do that is get into these politics areas. And Philly, where the Liberty Bell is, the birthplace of democracy,
Right.
how can we not have that energy within our conference? So it's going to be a lot of um, opportunity to have conversations, but also talk about action and also see people in action. And so really, really excited about the conference, and I want to make sure folks come out. um, Conference gala. Gala is going to be sneaker ball. We figure
Okay.
we switch it up a little bit. When you think Philly, you also think about sneakers and urban life. And
Right.
so Dean, wait, I mean, you a Philly girl, so I'm gonna be looking for you out there in the building to get us oriented to your city.
And tell the people out there, because I know I'm interested in submitting for a potential abstract to present. So what would you be looking at? I mean, you talked about
Mhm.
advocacy and these things, but
Yeah.
when will it be actually open? Call for abstracts.
Yeah. So call for abstracts will be March.
Okay.
And one of the things that for our conference we want all scholarship representation. Yeah, it's nice to be in alignment with the theme. There will be key talks that really align with the theme, but we want to highlight and amplify the scholarship that we have in our community. And so one of the things that for me was always when I applied to other conferences, I didn't really care that they wanted it specific and structured to one thing. And I was
Mhm.
like, you're really missing out on the opportunity to amplify and find new voices, new scholars. So, typically we look for things that are aligned with our impact areas, which are anti-racism, diversity, equity, inclusion, leadership, clinical practice, academia, research. So any innovative, creative talks that hit those impact areas, and then some that are embedded in the theme also will be looked at. But we look at everything evenly because we want to amplify and
Right.
elevate our scholarship and expertise that we're contributing to clinical practice. Yes, Dean Wade, I'm gonna need to get on your calendar because I need your folks in the building and you.
Yeah. So again, tell them where they can register, and I could drop the link later too. Where can they register again for the
Yeah.
conference and for
So
membership?
yes, please, membership. We are open. DNPsofcolor.org. I forgot to also mention we are hosting a national book club on the Black Angels book, Nurses Who Helped Cure Tuberculosis, featuring Virginia Allen and the Black Angel Nurses, a book written by Maria Smilios. And so please go to our website to register for membership. First of all, first and foremost, we got levels for everybody. We got student membership, we got DMP professionals, nursing professionals, and also those that identify as allies. We want you in the building too, because it takes a village to move the mission and advance health equity. So everybody got a table, a seat, a chair.
Mhm.
And so we got membership unlocked. And then we got conference will be opening up in March. October 17th through the 20th. And then we also have a couple of other programmings popping. So just go to our website, follow us on all our social media. The brand name is DNPs of Color. So just Google, type DNPs of Color. We're on all social media platforms, even Pinterest, baby. So please come out, support, holla at us. We love to connect. Holla at me. I'm always down to connect with people, slide in my DMs, hop on a Zoom. Love connecting with people, and just if there's anything that I can do to help you along your journey, I'm always here to be of support.
And I'm telling you guys, she is the real deal because I
Hey,
reached out to her because I'm like, listen, I'm trying to get more speaking gigs, and she's like, oh, send me your thing. I'll put it in the DNP of Colors booklet.
yes,
I was like, awesome, So she definitely is always helping out, behind the scenes. So thank you for all that you do. You're doing amazing things with you and your team, with the DMP
thank
of
you,
Colors in the community.
thank
Um,
you.
and it's a lot, and you should really be proud of what you're doing because it's really impacting a lot of nurses and even inspiring, the younger generation of nurses.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to touch base on something as well. I'm a mentor for the Canadian Black Nurses Alliance.
Yes,
Canada needs a lot of mentorship as well. So,
Canada's been in the building of DMPs of Color.
okay, good. So definitely we'll promote. So if you're Canadian, because I'm Canadian as well, um,
Hey,
you know, bring yourself to Philly because you'll find a lot of mentorship because there's a lot of issues as well concerning a lack of mentorship and
hmm
struggles with reaching leadership positions and things like that as well
hmm
in Canada. I'm sure globally as well. So
absolutely.
definitely check out DMP of Colors. And just to wrap it up, what do you think? Um, what are you optimistic about, for nursing and for DMPs in the future?
I'm optimistic that this next generation isn't about the business as usual. Just having a glimpse of the energy within my academia space and also within the DNP of color space, we want different and we are doing different. We're moving differently and we're leveraging more of a collective efforts in community, in collaboration and in partnership. And that is powerful within itself. And we're inspiring and empowering the next generation that they don't have to be business as usual. And they're
Right.
truly making an example of how to, my mom was like, make a dollar out of 15 cents, more than one way to skin a cat. They're really demonstrating how to meet strategic goals and objectives outside of the structures that have perpetuated inequities and
Hmm.
these systemic issues. So I'm really hopeful and grateful that this generation gets it, and they're not stopping. They're pushing forward. Like Aaron said, they cooking,
Yep.
and you can really see the swing, yes, and the push and the change, inch by inch, mile by mile. So I'm very, very hopeful and optimistic in that this next generation is really going to push us forward to where we need to be.
And yeah, and to touch base on that, I'm very proud of the current nursing students, like you said, the new generation, the Gen Zs, because, um, you know, they're not taking it, right? They're not taking
Mhm.
the nonsense
What
and
we
all.
not gonna do, yes.
Yeah. So I find that they're speaking out more, they're asking a lot more questions, they're doing a lot of advocacy work. So I'm actually going to be speaking at NSANI's, which is the Nursing Association for New York State in February.
Okay.
And there's a lot of big leaders out there in the nursing student community. So I wanted to, shout them out and say, continue to do what you're
Yes.
doing, because you're the future of nursing. And sometimes they might think that there's no value in advanced degrees, because even sometimes I thought that, but I'm like, you
Oh
know
yeah.
what? It's important to really get, because nobody could take away that education from you. And even though
Correct.
sometimes we're not compensated as we should be, we should still be fight. That's a whole nother conversation.
Okay, listen.
That's a whole show, another show. But
Okay.
we got to keep fighting, right? Because if we don't continue to negotiate and
Yes.
push forward on those issues, then it's never going to change, right? So
Yeah.
I'm really also optimistic about
Yes.
nursing. So I want to, I don't want to take too much of your time, and I want to say thank you again for coming on. And
Yes.
we have to do this again. So I
Yes.
appreciate your time, and definitely connect with her on LinkedIn. You can connect with me
Yes.
on LinkedIn. Um,
Yes.
check out the DNP of Colors, become a member, go to the conference, which is in
Yes.
Philly in October
Hey.
17th to the 20th. And I
Yes.
dropped the link as well. Oh, look at that. We have Amy, which is part of the Ansani's leadership team.
Yes. And Sandy's in the building.
So she's doing amazing things. Thank you, Amy. I'm so
Yeah.
proud of you guys. So yeah. So any last words for the people out there?
I always like to impart people with, um, you know, don't let any circumstances define you, but you define the circumstances. We all here have a story. Let people know your story, be proud of who you are, and, be in your authentic space, your authentic self, and pursue your passions and your purpose. And it all comes together. So just really grateful for opportunities to connect with people, and grateful for this time and being on your show and
Well,
seeing the community come out. So thank you all.
thank you so much. And Yvette said she's going to the website. So thank you,
Hey,
Yvette. And
yes.
Dr. Valdez, so happy to see you. She says, see you
Yes,
in
bring my
Philly.
niece.
She's also an amazing pioneer in emergency medicine. So, we
Yes, let's
love
throw
to
it up for
see
Dr.
diversity.
Valdez.
So thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Valdez, for all of your work and advocacy. You are amazing. And then who else? Thank you for this. Just filled my cup as I work on my
Yes, for your
presentation.
Saxa in the building. Oh my
Listen,
gosh,
this
Dr.
is gonna be too much when we
Campbell.
meet. This is
Sister Touch is in the building. Hey.
this was so much fun. I'm gonna have to
Yes.
have you back on.
Yes.
Definitely.
You'll be
And
streaming live at the conference, boo. We're gonna be like, we live in Philly at the conference.
yes,
Hey!
that's a good idea. Definitely gonna do that.
Done. It's done.
Honestly, we're like sisters from
Yes.
so yeah, what time is it now? It's been 35 minutes. So again, thank you everybody for joining us. Hit us up on the replay if you have any questions, and I'll drop more links for the membership for you guys to sign up. And again, thank you, Dr. McCamey. You are amazing. I love it. Love the energy.
Hey.
And look out for more nursing dose with Farah. And I'm gonna turn this into a podcast. So we're gonna be everywhere. DNPs everywhere.
That's what's up. Bye, y'all.
All right. Thank you. Stay on.